Hello. Today we're going to be talking about how to write an effective resume. So for your information, the CNS Career Center is located in Morrill 2 in Suite 321. We have peer advisors who are working 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for any drop-in appointments. So if you're wanting to have work done on your resume or cover letter, information on where to find internships, doing drop-in hours is a great way to connect with our staff here. We also have a ton of resources on our website, and you can find the QR code to our website right here on the screen. On there, you will have access to resume examples, cover letter examples, information on utilizing Big Interview, which is a free platform to practice interview skills. We also do a Thursday newsletter, so make sure you're tuned into that to your UMass email. And in that Thursday newsletter, we include a ton of opportunities for internships and full-time jobs. The Career Development Handbook is one of my favorite resources. So on the handbook, you'll find more resume examples, cover letter examples, information on networking, how to create a LinkedIn profile, career fair prep, and interview prep. And again, the QR code on that screen will take you right to that resource. So we are going to focus the conversation today on writing an effective resume. So a resume is a document used to present your background. So your education, experience, including paid and unpaid opportunities, work, volunteer, research, clubs, leadership, organizations, classroom, projects, and more. I want you to think of a resume as a detailed list of your qualifications for a specific position that you're applying to. So start thinking right now, what experiences do you have that make you qualified for whatever type of role you're planning on applying to. And you'll utilize the job description to help give you an idea of what the employer indicates they're looking for. What skills will someone need in this job? What are the minimum qualifications? What are the preferred qualifications? And where do you have some of that direct experience with? So this is a resume example, and I want you to take a quick look through the resume and kind of just notice what stands out to you among this. So what I want to make sure that you see in this resume is that the formatting is consistent throughout the entire document. It's easy to read, the font size is not too small, it's not too large, and the dates are all lined up across the right side of the page. In addition, this resume includes a GPA, 3.6 out of a 4.0. Having the GPA is not a requirement on your resume. If you would like to include it and think that it just helps show a little bit more about your academic progress, that's great. And if you do not want to disclose that on your resume, you absolutely do not have to. This resume also includes a relevant coursework section, which is really helpful when you're thinking about a type of position that has overlap with the courses that you've taken that really show your knowledge within the major that you're studying towards. If you include a relevant coursework section on your resume, put the course topic, not the course code or the course number. So this example has ecology, environmental policy, public policy management, etc., etc. And then in this resume, they have a section header that's called environmental experience. So they're a natural resources conservation major. So having a section on their resume dedicated towards their experience within environmental services shows the employer right off the bat that they have 3 experiences towards that field. And within that experience section, they have 2 committee experiences and 1 internship. Committees are often opportunities for leadership skills. They're typically not paid. They're volunteer opportunities. So again, think of your resume as both your paid and your unpaid experience. They then have a separate leadership experience section where they include that they're a resident assistant on campus and they're a store associate at Old Navy. So again, keeping in mind what you want the employer to see about you right away, typically your education section and your most relatable experience, and then what else is good for them to know that you've had some involvement in. And then throughout the resume, the experiences are in bullet point format. and they start with action verbs. So reading through the resume, you'll see plan events, campaign door to door, schedule events, conducted extensive research, participated in conference calls, created an extensive report. And when you're using those action verbs similar to this resume, someone reading quickly throughout your resume will get really awesome verbs that show your skill set in a short amount of time. So when you're thinking of verbs to help you write your resume, we have a list of, I think it's like 2.5 pages of action verbs in our career development handbook. Again, that was on one of the previous slides for you to access later. And you want to use a variety of experiences or a variety of verbs to describe your experiences. So instead of saying helped, assisted, or took care of, you want to be more active, and you can swap those words out with collaborated, volunteered, admonished. For the formatting of your resume, you'll have your experiences in reverse chronological order, so your most recent experiences towards the top, and then moving further back in time. Whatever formatting you choose for your resume, you're going to stick with that throughout the entire document, and use very simple formatting. Bolding, underlining, bullet points, capitalization, that's really all you need on the resume. You do not need any template to work with that. You want to get your spelling checked throughout your resume, bring it into the Career Center if you're able to, and if not, have just one other person take a look at it. Have your verb tenses in the correct tense. So past experiences are in the past tense, and current experiences are in the present tense. Most of you will have a nice full one-page resume. However, if you go onto the second page, you want to take up that entire second page. And then use a simple font, 10 point to 12 points. Some resume tips. Again, you're going to use bullet points to describe your experiences, starting with action verbs. And you want to include any relevant numbers throughout your bullet points. The 2 examples below show served as a teaching assistant for an intro bio lab, and you can end it there. It's a perfectly fine bullet point. But when you add of 30 students, the employer will then be able to picture you presenting in front of a group of 30 students, of being a leader for a group of 30 students. It doesn't take that much more room to include those 3 words after the bio lab. The second example is collaborated with a group of 3 other students to complete experiments and record data. Again, having that number 3 helps the employer get an idea of your skill set. So as you're thinking about what experiences you want to have reflected on your resume, what skills you want employers to know that you are qualified within, this is a study from NACE, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers from 2023. Employers who were asked what they were looking for on candidates' resumes reported the #1 skill as being problem-solving skills, then the ability to work on a team, followed by strong work ethic, analytical/quantitative skills, communication skills written, and technical skills. So think of where you can incorporate some of these skills throughout your resume. We also want to use the bullet point format rather than the paragraph format. Again, when you're quickly reading through a resume and you start at the top and skim down, you have a lot more control when you're doing bullet points to highlight the verbs that you want the employer to know that you have skills within. When you do it in the paragraph format, which is the second example on the screen, you don't have as much control where the line ends and where your next experience starts. So if you read straight down, it says, I demonstrated responsibility with learning course material, difficulties with content, collecting grade assignments. So using the bullet point format just gives you a lot more control over what the employer is going to see first, and the verbs is a great way to start those bullet points. If you have a job description of one of your previous experiences, you can use that as a starting point to write your bullet points on your resume, but you do not want to just copy and paste directly from that document and have duties included, administering subject questionnaires, etc. even though it was a duty, it might not be something that you have a lot of experience in. So you want to make sure that you're being more direct with the experience you got from that research assistant position, for example, and break down what you actually did in the role into that bullet. So if you're thinking you have no experience to include on your resume, I want you to think more broad about your experience. You're going to include your education on your resume, so your majors, your minors, if you're a part of the Commonwealth Office College, and if you would like to include your GPA. If you have a 3.0 or above, it could be good to have it on your resume. If you have above a 3.5 or higher, it would be better to have it on there, but again, the GPA is not required to be on your resume. You'll include any relevant courses that you've taken, and then you jump into your experience. And again, it's not just the jobs that you've had in the past. It's also volunteer work, research, labs including classes, student organizations, whether you're just a member or part of the e-board, right? You have a leadership position. That's something else that you could also put on the resume. Academic projects, if you're a resident assistant, a peer mentor, a peer advisor, any certificates, coursework outside of the university, such as LinkedIn Learning, which is free for UMass students, or Coursera, languages, computer programs, and more. So if you're interested in including an academic project on your resume as an experience that you have, for students who want to be a part of a research lab, showing that you've been in a lab class in the past is a really good way to show that you're qualified to be a part of that research lab. So these are a few examples of how you might format that. So in that second example, lab student is your job title. Cellular and molecular biology. I would put common masters for cellular and molecular. So you took the course in parentheses beside it. And then a couple bullet points of what you did. Analyze mutations, generated and analyzed data, completed labs. It was a really good way, again, to expand more in depth into the experience you're gaining in the classroom. What you're doing in a class is absolutely able to reflect on what makes you qualified for a position you're applying to, for an internship, research, co-ops, full-time jobs. If you are interested in finding experiences to include on your resume, you can use Handshake to see opportunities for internships, co-ops, full-time jobs, volunteer opportunities. It's it's joinhandshake.umass.edu, I believe. It's free for you to use with your UMass email. And there is a ton of sections on Handshake, including our job board, events that are happening where employers are, interacting directly with students about any open positions or hosting information sessions. Any upcoming career fairs will be listed on Handshake. And it's a really good tool to get started on your career or internship search. You'll also want to check our Thursday newsletters. That has great information about upcoming events, upcoming career fairs, and any current open jobs or internships that might be great for you to check out. So that is a good starting point as well. And now is a great time to start gaining experience to build up your resume. There's a ton of clubs and organizations on campus. There's a ton of labs that are looking for research assistants. There are a really plethora of ways for you to get involved on campus to continue developing your resume if that is something that you're interested in. If you're interested in learning more about the Career Center, or you have a quick question, you can also reach us at Career Center CNS@umass.edu and send an email that way. Thanks. Take care.